not saying it's going to happen, but I can see it happening.
I think it depends. What do you value is worth at? Second round pick?
Second or third?
Second and third?
Second or third.
I mean, I think they're really high on Montgomery, but I wouldn't put it past Ryan Pace to give up a second or a third, or like a third and a fifth, or something like Melvin Gordon. Because I feel like Melvin Gordon's exactly what they're looking for.
I was about to say he's very
somebody,
much like
he's a between the tackles runner that has elite catching ability out of the backfield and has wiggle, and that's what they're looking for. Somebody with wiggle. I wouldn't put it past Ryan Pace at all. The guy is a free agency guru and a drafting animal.
Colts.
Yeah, Colts have a lot of money.
I like that idea.
Colts have a lot of money.
It wouldn't be fair.
Tampa Bay.
Colts, I think, would have to give up a second. The Colts would have to give up a second rounder.
I think they'd be okay with that because they have a lot of picks
and a lot of money.
Yeah,
which bothers me. I feel they, in my opinion, they don't deserve to win anything.
Who, the Colts?
They had so much money to go out and put a better defense on the field than what they had last year. Which, let's be honest, they needed help, and to put pieces around Andrew Luck, and they just didn't do it.
I think
they're not good. They weren't good enough last year to go to the Super Bowl and win it. They got stomped in the playoffs.
I don't think that they had, or I thought they got bought out or beat out by people that were trying to buy, or the free agents.
Well, they didn't want to overpay.
They didn't want to overpay, but now it resulted in them having a substantially exuberant amount of money, and a team that right now is with a healthy Andrew Luck has a win now mentality. And let's be realistic, the team. I'm not taking anything away from Andrew Luck's play last year, but the team as a whole, I mean, they benefited from really inconsistent play from the Titans all year.
Yes.
They benefited from a really bad Jacksonville Jaguars team, and they benefited from a less than perfect Texans team.
That's another team that could use.
Plus, not to mention, James Conner doesn't go down. The Colts don't make the playoffs.
No.
Yarp.
I'm just saying, the Colts weren't, in my opinion, making the playoffs doesn't make you a playoff team. For example, the year that I think it was the year the Packers won the Super Bowl was the year the Seahawks made the playoffs as a sub 500 team. They made the playoffs, but they weren't a playoff team. Yeah. It happens all the time. Half the teams that make it in the NBA East playoff teams.
I heard a fun fact today.
I'm not done, Kyle.
Sorry.
I'm just saying, the Colts last year weren't a playoff team. They just benefited from other things. The Raiders were bad. The Broncos were way below expectations. You have three teams in the NFC East that never make the playoffs. The Steelers were below average last year. The Browns lost a lot of close games. I mean, there was a lot of things that went in their favor. The Browns win half those games that they lost by overtime or close possession games. The Steelers don't. James Conner doesn't go down. The Broncos just play to expectations. The Texans play the way they're supposed to play. The Colts don't make the playoffs. They weren't a playoff team last year. They had, in my opinion, the only thing that they have that's an absolute lock is their middle linebacker and their quarterback. The two quarterbacks on both sides of the ball.
And one of their offensive linemen.
Yeah, and a good offensive line. But I'm talking about like key positional players.
Breath of fresh air to them.
But yes. I could see him going to the Colts. But at the same time, I don't think the Colts are going to be willing to part ways with draft picks. Because they still have a lot of holes to fill. And there's no guarantee into what free agency is going to bring. So, I mean, Colts maybe. The Texans, I could see them overpaying for it. I could also see the Chiefs.
Do they have the money to pay him, though?
You can find money. You can always find money in the NFL. Cap space isn't real. It's a fake number. You can take somebody's contract and pay them the rest of them to a guaranteed. It depends on the team you have. Like a team like the Chicago Bears or the Pittsburgh Steelers, they can afford to give everybody $1 and give them all out of pocket because they make that much revenue. That's what they do.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put it past the Bills.
They have like 18 running backs on the roster, though.
Just like the Eagles, man.
Also,
what if the Steelers? I know it never would happen. What if the Steelers traded for Gordon?
Well, they'd be more dynamic in the running game,
and he would automatically be worthy of getting paid in Kyle's eyes.
Yeah.
Kyle knows the fan he is. I mean, like I could see him working well in the Patriots offense, but I don't think that they would be willing to part ways with a draft pick that high.
Especially because they have Sonny Michel right now.
Yeah, but Melvin Gordon's a step up from that. And if any, and there's nothing Bill Belichick loves more than having 65 running backs that all can rush for 100 at any given moment in time and then cut them the next week because they miss practice.
I'm probably going to kill.
Kyle, can you just stop playing with things, man? What the fuck? Dude?
What about the Seahawks?
Yeah. I mean, again, I don't think Pete Carroll's one that likes to really depart ways with draft picks. You look at what the Seahawks have done in terms of the draft over the past years under his command. And Kyle, you can't pull up, dude. You guys got to pull out. Yeah, you were pulling up. You're pulling. See, I get your hand on the bottom of the arm there. That's pulling up while you're pulling out. You might not be meaning to, but you're doing it. An object in motion stays in motion.
What about the Ravens?
I don't know.
No, they got Mark Ingram.
I don't.
They got Mark Ingram.
Okay.
They're looking more. They're figuring that their elusive back is going to be Lamar Jackson.
Who do the Redskins have for running back?
Adrian Peterson.
No, that's right.
Darius Geis.
I forgot about Geis.
I don't know. I mean, it's tricky. We can sit here and make accusations, and he'll end up going to like the 49ers or something.
Yeah, he'll go to a team like obviously he'll make an impact on any team he goes to, but it's like he'll go to a team that isn't going like anywhere fast.
What if the Packers traded for him?
Or the Raiders?
Raiders just got Josh. What's his name? Josh Jackson? No, Josh Abrams.
Jacobs.
Josh Jacobs. Thank you.
Yeah, but that's a rookie running back. You still don't really know what you have.
You just took him in the first round. I doubt that they're going to trade another high value.
You would ask John Gruden.
That's true.
Phillies lost. That's fun.
I don't know. Kyle, what's the fun thing you saw? Can you talk into the mic?
Can't.
You could stand up?
Not just yet.
Yeah,
all right.
Why don't you just shift over a mic, Kyle?
Hey, I sit here all the time. I'm not doing that.
You could pull that mic closer to you.
Go fuck yourself, bud.
And
that's usually Kyle's response with something like makes sense, but he doesn't want to do it.
No.
You broke it, Kyle.
Hey, Matt, why don't you go stand like a tree and go fuck yourself, eh?
Stand like a tree and go fuck yourself.
I like it. I think
that's close to.
Souls.
That was like the.
Don't pull on the bottom, dude.
Oh, God.
Kyle fucking broke it. Kyle, move over a seat. Turn that mic off. Turn the next mic on. You can stay there. Just pull that mic close to you.
I did nothing wrong.
Souls, what was the fun thing you saw?
I don't remember.
There's something you would tell Kendall.
I don't know.
All right.
Really suck.
Kendall, what's on your mind?
So I saw this thing on one of those, all these pages like on Instagram and all that, like the NFL people want to like argue about stuff. And I found this thing that was kind of intriguing. Who had a better season, the 06 Champ Bailey or the 2009 Darrelle Revis? And I'd have to pull up the stats for you. But what it comes down to is that and Paul can maybe pull it up pretty quickly, where Champ Bailey had 10 interceptions and only gave up 4 receptions the whole season. He was only targeted 38 times.
Now, the entire season?
The entire season.
Holy shit.
Gave 4 receptions, had 10 picks. Now, Revis was thrown at like 108 times, had 6 picks, and only had, I think, something like...
Here we go.
You got it?
Yeah. All right. 2006 Champ Bailey, thrown at 35 times, allowed 4 receptions for about a 10% completion rate, defended 21 of the 35 passes, and tied a league lead for 10 interceptions. Also had 98 tackles. And looks like 9 of his 10 interceptions came in the red zone.
Did Champ Bailey ever win Super Bowl?
Nope.
No. And then Darrelle Revis was thrown at 108 times with 6 interceptions for 121 interception return yards and a touchdown, and 31 passes defensed for 60 total tackles.
So it comes down to like do you look at it as, no one threw it at Champ Bailey, and that's why he had such a good season, or, Revis just was that good, all those times he was thrown at?
How many times did we say he was thrown to?
35 times.
35 times. Okay, so he had 10 picks.
I would say Champ Bailey purely because nobody threw at him, and when they did, they fucked up.
I mean, I'm biased because Champ Bailey is one of my favorite players.
What did he give up? 1 touchdown on those 4 receptions, right?
Something like that.
No, he didn't give up any touchdowns.
No touchdowns, yeah.
Yeah, and Darrelle Revis, didn't he give up 4 that year?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, he gave up 4. And I think one of them was to fucking, Musin Muhammad or some shit.
Yeah, some scrub of a guy. So, I mean, it's just interesting because I think people are quick to forget as time goes on, how good, even like Revis, he had a great stretch of, 5-6 years maybe. And even as time goes on, when the guy from the Jags.
It's because
Jalen Ramsey.
Well, the other thing too is Revis played. When Revis played and was doing his most dominant play, he was playing for the high media profile New York Jets and then the always Super Bowl contending New England Patriots. So he got tons of publicity, tons of time, media attention, coined Revis Island.
Yeah.
When Champ Bailey was doing his biggest damage, he was doing it for a non-threatening Denver Broncos team. I mean, Denver Broncos in the 2005 to 2010 weren't
excellent.
They weren't convincing people that they were a Super Bowl lock.
What happened to
that 2005 to 2010 stretch? That was Patriots and Steelers. That's who it was. Patriots and Steelers. Those were the Super Bowl AFC Championship game. The Denver Broncos. So it just didn't result in the same amount of things. I give it to Champ Bailey because Champ Bailey was a dominant cornerback for his entire career.
Yeah,
that was like the 1 year he lit it up interceptions wise, but Champ Bailey, like a Charles Tillman, was always his first intention was to make sure the pass wasn't completed. Then he was worrying about a turnover, and that's what makes corners absolutely great and indispensable and worthy of a paycheck because they don't have a short shelf life. The high interception cornerbacks have shorter shelf lives. Darrelle Revis did it for 6 years. That's a long time for somebody like that. But I mean, Richard Sherman's run as the top cornerback wasn't forever. Asante Samuels wasn't forever. These big name guys that go out and get all these picks, they don't last forever.
Oh, there's Mock.
Yellow.
Hey.
Oh, we figured it out.
Well, Pete jumped on Team Viewer and started doing some stuff, so I let him just go ahead.
There we go. What's going on?
We were just chatting about Champ Bailey's 2006 season versus Revis's 2009 season. And I think so far we're in agreement that Champ Bailey's 06 season was better.
Yeah, I can get on board with that.
Do you have any idea what the stats were or anything like that?
Nope.
All right. Well, Champ Bailey in 2006 was thrown at 35 times. Only 35 times the whole season.
Wow.
In 35 times thrown at, he allowed 4 receptions, defended 21 passes, and had 10 interceptions, 9 of which came in the red zone.
That's an insane percentage.
He was also just shy of 100 tackles, and if he had one more fumble recovery, would have led the league in takeaways as a cornerback. In 2009, Darrelle Revis was thrown at 108 times with 6 interceptions, a defensive touchdown, 31 passes defended, and only gave up 4 touchdowns and 108 attempts thrown his way.
I'm also from the camp, though, that Revis was overrated for most of his career. Like, he had a couple of really strong years, but other than that, I don't know.
Anybody want to chime in on that?
So they don't have Champ Bailey's lineup against who he lined up against every game, but they do have Darrelle Revis's. So I'm going to go down this real quick. So week 1 against Andre Johnson, 2 catches, 24 yards. Week 2 against Randy Moss, 3 catches for 21 yards. Week 3, Justin Gage, 3 catches for 28 yards. Week 4 against Marquise Colston, 0 receptions allowed. Week 5 versus Ted Ginn, 2 catches for 57 yards and a touchdown. That's the scrub. Week 6 against Terrell Owens, 1 catch for 11 yards. Week 7 against Lewis Murphy, 1 catch for 6 yards. That doesn't count because who cares? Week 8 versus Ted Ginn, no receptions. Week 10 versus Mike Sims Walker, 0 receptions. Week 11 versus Randy Moss, 4 catches, 29 yards, and a touchdown. Steve Smith, 1 catch for 5 yards. Terrell Owens, 3 catch for 31 yards. Roddy White, 3 for 27. Reggie Wayne, no receptions. Ocho Cinco, no receptions. So, I mean, the thing to look at, though, when you're talking about this, if you're really going to compare it, he held in 2 meetings with Randy Moss, he held Randy Moss to 7 catches for about 50 yards and a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same, and then he also held Reggie Wayne and Ocho Cinco to no receptions. Granted, it's 09 Reggie Wayne, so it's not as impressive. And any Ocho Cinco thing just is also isn't as impressive. But like T.O., he held T.O. to 4 catches for 50 yards.
Yeah.
So I mean, he went up against some.
He definitely had good seasons.
He definitely went up against more superior talent than Champ Bailey.